So far, our trip along the west coast of Ireland had been spectacular. After checking out the sights around Dingle, we did the Slea Head Drive the next day. The drive includes dramatic landscapes and coastlines, as well as some interesting medieval structures once you make your way back inland. Once again, it was the drive itself that was impressive as we drove along the coast. However, in this case, the drive wasn't as busy as the Ring of Kerry was. There was definitely less congestion along the Slea Head route, although some of the stop-offs had limited parking. The name Dunmore Head comes from the Gaelic, An Dunmore, meaning the Great Fort, and it's the most westerly point in mainland Ireland. It's also one of the most beautiful dramatic landmarks we've seen so far in our trip. It's located on the coast of the Dingle Peninsula, at the western end of Slea Head Drive, and it has beautiful Atlantic views, steep cliffs, and feeling like you're on the edge of Europe. Similar to the Skellig Islands, Dunmore Head was also a filming location for Star Wars The Last Jedi, and when you look at the dramatic landscapes, it's easy to understand why. And we are now at Dunmore Head. This location is very busy right now, but you can see that there is a beach down there. It's a little bit half hidden around the corner. And beautiful vistas of the Atlantic Ocean, and we're going to make our way up to the top. The name Dunmore refers to an ancient stone fort that once stood on the headland. Remains of early fortifications suggest the site was occupied back in prehistoric or early medieval times. Forts like this were often built on cliff edges for natural defense. The sea protected three sides, while walls defended the landward side. And we're now going to head down to the point at the bottom there. That's the furthest west of Ireland without being on an island. We're going to head down and check out one last spot. Quite a trip to get there, though. Walking around Dunmore Head, we run into a lot of poo. Mostly it's from the sheep and cows, but there are some small ones, probably from rabbits, because they're apparently the only wild animal in this area. From the end point of Dunmore Head, there are beautiful views of the Atlantic Ocean, facing towards North America. You can also see the Great Blasket Island from here as well. And there are two trails to go around. You can take the scenic trail below there, or you can take the fast one to get back quickly.
Take the next right.
This marker signifies where the Spanish Armada came close to shore here at Dingle Bay more than 300 years ago in 1588, and this marker was enacted in 1988, I should say, to commemorate the occasion. Dunquin Pier is a narrow, winding concrete slipway that zigzags down the cliffside into the Atlantic Ocean. From the top of the cliff, you can see sweeping panoramas of the sea, as well as the Blasket Islands. This is the spot where you'd be picked up if you were doing a tour of the Blasket Islands. For some reason, that particular rock looked a little bit familiar. I sat down on the walkway next to a pigeon who didn't seem to want to move. He was very patient as I got my camera out and took his picture. Very photogenic fellow.
That's the next thing after the land.
It's too heavy to lift.
Okay. Ferry booking agency. And then is it? Okay.
Our next stop was the Ceann Sibéal viewing point. I'm not going to repeat that one again because it was hard enough to say the first time, but feel free to correct me in the comments because I'd love to know how to say it properly. The name is often anglicized as Sibyl Head. It's a dramatic headland and natural viewing point on the peninsula. Once you hit the elevated part of the headland, the views are spectacular, and you can see in 3 directions, as well as looking back towards the peninsula. For Star Wars fans, nearby land was used as a filming location for The Last Jedi. A temporary set was built representing an ancient Jedi temple. Unfortunately, the set has long since been removed, although the backdrop remains the same. This region is home to 2 famous oratories. Both are boat-type oratories, small chapels built in a boat shape. One is St. Brendan's and the other is Gallarus. We decided to just do one and picked Gallarus as it is the most well-known one.
Has been described by the poet Seamus Heaney as like going into a turf stack, a cold.
Gallarus Oratory is a small stone chapel, traditionally interpreted as an early Christian place of worship, although its exact purpose is debated. The Irish name for it translates to the Little Chapel of Gallarus, often thought to mean Church of the Foreigners, or maybe Pilgrims. There are different interpretations. There is no firm historical record of when it was built. Estimates range widely from as early as the 7th to 9th centuries up to the 11th or 12th centuries AD. Whatever the age, it's widely regarded as one of the best preserved early Christian stone buildings in Ireland. The oratory is famed for its dry stone construction. Carefully shaped stones are laid without mortar, forming walls and a roof that make the structure watertight, even after many centuries. Located about 400 meters away from the oratory is the main monastic complex at Kilmalkedar Church. One of the structures there is a late medieval building called St. Brendan's House. The church and its surroundings have been a sacred place for well over 1,000 years, possibly even predating the arrival of Christianity in Ireland, as suggested by ancient ritual practices that were linked to the site. Because it was on the pilgrimage route to nearby Mount Brandon, the site once drew pilgrims from all across the region, and some traditions, such as making clockwise circuits of the site on Easter Sunday, hint at echoes of pre-Christian ritual that were woven into later Christian practice. In front of the church is the famous Hold Ogham stone. This one possibly dates to the 5th or 6th century. Ogham stones are ancient Irish standing stones that are inscribed with the Ogham alphabet. They are used as grave markers or boundary markers. Similar to the Gallarus Observatory, the church and the surroundings were very quiet with few visitors around. It was quite a contrast with the drive along the coast. We were really glad we spent 3 nights on the Dingle Peninsula. The region was very laid back and much quieter than a lot of other drives we had done, but it had some beautiful sights both along the coast as well as inland, and a lot of history too. In the next video, we'll continue northward towards Galway as we continue to do the Wild Atlantic Way.